I've found myself in what I can only describe as a fat creative rut. I think I'm the kind of person who prides myself on saying that I'm creative and I make stuff and I'm crafty. I think for the most part that is still true, but I have definitely felt recently that I've lost a bit of my motivation to make things and my motivation to be creative and not just be stuck on this constantly and be on TikTok. I think if I look at my screen time, so my daily average is 4 hours just on my phone. I don't think it's as much on my iPad, but it should be more on my iPad because I should be drawing. But 4 hours on my phone, basically a week, that's actually outrageous. A week I'm spending 11 and a half, nearly 12 hours on TikTok. 12 hours, that is outrageous. 2 hours 45 on YouTube. What the hell? Picked up TikTok 58 times. That is shocking. That is shocking. 12 hours a week. That's a part-time job. And I have the audacity to say I don't have time. I don't have time to do this thing I want to do. I don't have time to do this thing I want to... That's lies. My total screen time last week was 28 hours. In a week. That can't be right. My daily average is 4 hours a day. On my phone. On my phone! That's madness. Anyway, this stops today, okay? So where are we? And that's 20 hours, it's just madness. It's just madness. I'm not trying to say that should be zero because I try to be a realistic queen, but 12 hours on TikTok, 28 hours on my phone, you must be having a laugh. So I'm endeavouring to have more physical hobbies. I love my iPad for drawing and I love how practical it is and how clean and tidy it is, and I basically just have to pick it up and go. But what happens is I pick up my iPad and I go on TikTok. That's honestly what's happening, and it hasn't always been like that. The iPad has enabled me to get back into art making massively in a way that I would have literally never have probably if I didn't start on my iPad. But I just need to actually make physical things. I need to make things because I'm not making anything. All I'm doing is just scrolling. And sorry, I had to reverse for someone. Also, the potholes here are outrageous, so so I just feel like I need to I feel like I need a sketchbook. I need to actually draw things. And when I first started getting back into art and my art making journey, I had a physical sketchbook and I was making A4, A3 drawings on this sketchbook, and it's so satisfying to see a full sketchbook. I filled up a sketchbook and it's just so nice. But that was kind of before I started my career job, so my full-time 9 to 5 job, and I just don't have time like that. And I know myself, and I definitely need to have the satisfaction of finishing something quite quickly. And so I think the answer is going to be drawing smaller. So I'm thinking of, I want to make my own little sketchbook, and I'm thinking of it being and it's going to be square. I love a square sketchbook. I don't know why, I don't know, but I just love square. I actually am a massive fan of symmetry. I really like symmetrical things. I feel like people always asymmetric is so pleasing to the eye, but for me symmetry is so pleasing to the eye. I love a bit of symmetry. Anyway, regardless, I want to have a little square sketchbook. I want to make it when I say make it, I literally just mean guillotine the paper and then sew in the spine, a sewn bound sketchbook. But I want to make my own one because as well, I feel on social media, especially in the last 3 years, I guess, I've been presenting myself as an artist, which is fine, which is fair because I am an artist, but at the same time I think actually what resonates with me more is that I'm a creative. And I think the reason why I was presenting myself as an artist was because everyone's kind of like niche down, have a niche. And so I was like, cool, I have a niche, no worries. But I was kind of just like, well, okay, then my niche will be art. Like, if I have to pick one of my creative hobbies, I will pick art to be the one that I like make content about. But I think, I mean, and I love art, do not get me wrong, but I just feel like actually what resonates with me more, like to my core, is being creative and being a creative or a crafty person. And so why am I just trying to like narrow myself down and just say, well, I'm just an artist? And actually that's never been true. I've been somebody, I make things, that's always been who I am. Even like, you know, when I share like my DIY content, or, you know, us like renovating our lounge, it's, you know, I'm making stuff. Like, that is me doing something with my hands, doing something physical. And I think that's always been a core part of me as a creative. And I think just boxing myself in, particularly just boxing myself into iPad drawing, it's like, I've got really good at it, in my humble opinion, but it's just like boxing me off, because I always feel like, well, I need to be producing like art content, so I need to be producing art, like drawing content. And I basically have like, I barely sew now. Like, sewing was my thing. I can't even express to you, like, I didn't, you know, like for me making art really, I loved making art when I was like really little, and then I found sewing and I was making my own clothes. My first ever job, I was working at a fabric shop, and I loved it. And I was making so many clothes. I was sewing all the time. I was obsessed. Like, sewing was my thing. I thought I was going to do fashion design at uni. Like genuinely, I was obsessed. And then I did my foundation, and then, well, I picked fine art. I fell back in love with art basically on my foundation, because I realised that art didn't have to be this like oil painting of boring crap, which basically was what art had felt like at school. Like, it just felt that I had to make these boring still life pictures of old stuff and draw skulls, and everything had to be like photorealism. And then when I got to my foundation, I realised that, oh, art actually doesn't have to look like that. Oh, it's like a double-decker train. Oh no, it's like transporting stuff. Anyway, I realised that art didn't have to be like that at all. Art actually could be free, it could be abstract, and I was allowed to make whatever work I wanted. And so I fell back in love with art and art making. And then COVID happened and I fell out of love with art making again, and I was like, man, I should have done that textiles degree. And I think as well, living in a shared accommodation, living with people, and not wanting to be so noisy. Like, sewing is a noisy hobby, like there is no way about it. It's so noisy. And I basically, it's, you know, now I live in a flat, and, you know, I have had neighbours like complain about the noise when I sew. So it just kind of is like ended up where I don't sew anymore, because it just feels like, and also we've been renovating, so it's been kind of dirty, and it just has felt like more of a hassle than to like just set up and start sewing than it has ever felt before. And so I kind of haven't sewed a lot, and I miss it. I want to sew, I want to make things, and I want to draw, and I want to paint, and I want to just make things, like not just draw. And so I think I've kind of boxed myself in a way that is almost like leading to, I don't know, be like almost leading to burnout, because it's such a buzzword to say burnout, but I just feel like a bit creatively boxed in, and I just want to make stuff. And so I think the direction that I'm going to take is I'm just going to make things, and, you know, if no one likes the things I make, or this journey of like regaining my creativity, then oh well, I suppose I will live. But basically that's it. I just want to be creative again. I just don't want to, you know, I feel like I've said this several times, but I just don't want to be someone who is like, oh, I used to do this, I used to be creative, go on, I used to like sew, I used to make my own clothes, but now I don't do any of that anymore. Like that was my bread and butter, just making things for myself, making things for other people, and I want to get that back. And I think, yeah, that's basically it. So with that all being said, I've just about made it to the range where I'm going to buy some paper and I'm going to buy some paint. I'm not sure whether to go for gouache or oil. If I was to go for oil, I'd go for water soluble oil so it's easier to clean. Like, I'm not crazy.
Good afternoon and welcome.
I really like this hairband, but I actually can't wear it for too long because I feel like this is not how well it's like here it hurts, so I have to take it off. Oh man, that feels so good. I will give you a bit more of a haul of what I got when I'm back near my humble abode, because there are so many people here. It's not even been Halloween yet, so please do tell me why it is like Christmas is thrown up in the range. It is disgusting. There is so much crap. I even saw like this like thing. It was like rusted. Wow, I just can't believe how many people are here today. It's actually mental. But I even saw like these rusted like bells. I think it's supposed to be like a rustic, what are they called? Garland, a rustic like garland thing. But the bells were rusty. Like, surely that's just rubbish that they have repurposed and are now trying to sell as rustic. This car park, I'm actually never coming here on a Sunday again. What is this? Very excited about what I got. I did go for oils in the end. For those of you with bated breath wondering what kind of paint I did, there was a moment where I was like, should I go for acrylic? But I feel like acrylic, it just is plasticky, and that's because acrylic is plastic, you know, hence the name. It's the same material that makes your acrylic nails, the same material that makes acrylic like glass, the same acrylic that's in acrylic. It's all plastic. So yeah, I went for the oils, and I even went for oil mixable oils. Crazy, just gets crazier and crazier. Although I'm not sure I've got any oil to mix my oils with. But what I am hoping is I can maybe mix it with like olive oil. Is that crazy? I don't know. I feel like that shouldn't be crazy. I don't know though. Maybe that is crazy. Maybe I have lost my mind. I'll Google it before I do it, probably. And I suppose also oil does have a slight green tinge to it, like olive oil or vegetable oil. Do you think it matters? Do you think it matters? Probably. There's probably like someone screaming going like, yes, it mattered. But I'm not a professional oil painter, and I think the slow, or I think I can use white spirit to thin out the paint. It's from what I understand. I have a little thing of white spirit, and I think we've got white spirit at home. I could have bought more white spirit. I just didn't want to buy more things that we already have. So yeah, but I did go cheap on my paintbrushes. I do have a couple. I have a few like paintbrushes already, but I just wanted to make make sure I had like a set that I liked, and that were just for oil painting. I may do other kinds of painting in the future. I've got acrylics at home anyway. I just don't want to do acrylics. They just dry so fast and they're not very movable and they just don't look very painterly. I'm just not feeling the acrylics, okay? I'm just not feeling it. I feel like it's just going to be much more satisfying. It's going to be more satisfying to film and make content with. It's going to be more satisfying to do, and it's going to make me be more intentional. I hope. I'm basically going to have to get off of TikTok. I actually can't believe that 28 hours, that is insane, and 12 hours of that is just on TikTok. Like, there's no reason why I'm spending more than an hour a day on TikTok. Honestly, there's no reason why I'm spending an hour a day on TikTok, but there is no reason why I'm spending more than an hour a day on TikTok. That's like 2 hours a day. That is crazy. But it stops here right now. So we'll see. Maybe in 12 weeks time I will be a different person. I'm also contemplating buying the Artist Way and doing that. I'm not sure though. I mean, it's like 10 quid, but it's just like, but then do I buy the physical copy or do I buy the digital copy? If I bought the digital copy, it would be because I am like, I want it now and I'm being impatient. I prefer it, if I was going to buy it, I prefer it in the physical copy. But I'd also prefer, to be honest, to buy a cheap beat up one that someone else has had before, and rather than buy like a pristine new one. Like, I don't need it to be new. I want it to be beat up. I want evidence that someone's done it and used the book and the spine is broken, that it's worked. Because if it's beat up, then it means someone read it lots, right? And that must mean it works. So maybe I'll look on eBay and see if they've got them. I feel like the whole second-hand market is obsessed with things being pristine now. Like, I feel that 10, maybe 20 years ago, to be honest, like, you'd buy beat-up books from the charity shop for like 20p and they would be loved, they would be well used, whereas I feel like now, everything that's from the charity shop is like, half of it's new, half of it's like, oh, it must be in good condition. Like, they can't, I tried to donate a while, like, honestly, probably years ago now, but still, I tried to donate, like, I think like cuddly toys or something, and they were like, we don't take cuddly toys that aren't new. Pardon? What do you mean you don't take cuddly toys that aren't new? Like, and I'm not, you know, give them a wash. I'm not saying you should ever hand things in dirty to the charity shop, but you don't take cuddly toys. That's, to me, that's madness. But I don't know. But it feels like the same with all clothes and books. Or I see stuff in the charity shop and I'm like I saw a PU leather, like a faux leather skirt, and it was literally like the leathery part was peeling away at the seam, and for that pleasure they wanted to charge you a £5. Like, have you gone mad? Have you gone mad? But yeah, I don't know. People, I think, are just donating absolute garbage to the charity shop, aren't they? So, arguably, someone should never have donated a skirt that was peeling at the sides. But also, arguably, it should never be £5. So, make of that what you will. What is going on here today? The heck? Thank you. Madness. People are crazy. In my 26 years, that's what I've learned. People are crazy. I'm so tired every day. I've got the Rise like sleep app, and it says my energy level is 50%. So that's cool. I feel that. I can't lie to you. I feel it in my soul. I do not feel energized most of the time. So yeah. Okay, we're gonna park here, I think. Okay, so it might be a little bit dark, but I think it'll still be okay. So I will show you what I got. So I did not get this. This is just my handbag. Okay, so I'll show you my cover last. So I got these paintbrushes. They're not particularly like fanciful. but I quite like a square head, and I like the fan one, and there's a couple of like little detail brushes. For a beginner in oil painting, I thought these would be fine. And these were $1.89, pack of 7, so hopefully they'll be okay, but we'll see. Then for the oil paints themselves, I got the Winsor & Newton oil colour. I don't like De La Rowley, sorry. I'm happy to be convinced otherwise if by some basically miracle De La Rowley would like to ever sponsor me and send me their products for me to be changed, my mind to be changed. I'm willing, but generally I find they're kind of student quality, so not my but I'm artist quality only. But these are them. Now, because I was thinking about getting these, like I was thinking about picking individual colours, and then I realised that actually, because this set was 23 quid, and individually they were like $3.99. So if I had bought 10 of them individually, I would be paying 40 quid, and this was basically half the price. So although they're not necessarily all colours I would have chosen, I think by the time I've got to the stage where, you know, I've picked 6, well, that would have cost me 6 times 4 is 24, so 6 colours would have been more. So basically I just got 4 for free anyway, so, you know. I maybe would have got oh no, I did get cadmium red. Crimson red would have been the colour maybe I would have got, but I'm sure I will live. I can colour mix, so it's not that deep. That was them, so these were $22.99. I spent like 32 quid, by the way, in case you're wondering. There's my receipt. For the paper, I got this, the Artist Studio Premium. Now, Artist Studio, I believe, is the brand that the range sells, that it's like their own brand, so I'm not convinced it's that premium, but it's got a fun, like, texture, potentially. I haven't actually opened this. Should I open it? Should we open it together? Let's see what this paper's like. There was this other sketchbook that I really liked, and it was a little square sketchbook, and it was holographic silver. It was holographic silver on the outside, but the paper inside was a bit cruddy. Not that I'd actually felt this paper, but it said it was oil. Ooh, ooh. You know what? It's kind of nice, you know. It's, wow, it's very thick. It's very thick, and it's basically been hot pressed into the texture of canvas. Basically, is what I'd estimate has happened here. Because the back is very smooth, almost has like a slight plasticky feel to it. So yeah, I would say that's been hot pressed, acid free, oil paper pad. Yeah, I think so. It's basically been pressed into the canvas texture, but I'm not mad about that. That's fine by me. And so I'm thinking like square. So this is obviously 42 by 29.7. So half of 42 is 21. So I'd use the whole length and then go 21 up to make a square sketchbook, and then I'll have a strip left, and I'm planning on using the strip for like practice paintings or like 5-minute sketches, that kind of thing. So yeah, I will use the whole sketchbook, and then I can use, because I'm gonna cut it down, I can use this, the hardboard at the back, to like give the cover of the sketchbook some stability. So yeah, but I actually quite like that. That was $6.99. And then the pièce de résistance, as some may say. Woo! Glitter card, although you'll note that the glitter part is already peeling off, so that's good. But this gold glitter card, so I'm going to make this be the shell of the sketchbook. I think that's going to be so fun. You know what? It's not for everyone. Am I warm? No, I'm joking. I actually don't know. I keep trying to do those like colour season thingies. I haven't got a clue. And I am not spending £150 to be analysed. Are you for real? £150? No, not gonna be me. So anyway, but I thought I'm not having my holographic silver, but I was looking at silver, but then I saw this glittery gold, and I love a bit of glitter. So yeah, got that. That was £1. I thought for £1, why not? You know. So yeah. I'm going to make my sketchbook hopefully tonight, and then we will go from there. I'm going to paint daily. You mark my words, you've heard it here first. I'm going to paint daily because I need to get off my phone so badly, but yeah. So So I'm now going to attempt to exit this car on the passenger side. So that's really cool. So I will catch up with you later, maybe when I'm making my sketchbook. Ooh. And yeah, so until then, I'm just gonna go now. Okay, bye.